this one isn't so bad. Pretty underappreciated movie of the 2000s. What's up everyone, welcome back to Epictastic Joshua. I am Joshua and we're going to be talking about Formula 51. Many of you have never heard of this movie, or some of you probably have heard this movie, just not a lot of people talk about it. This is one of those little underrated gems from the 2000s, and this came out in 2001 and was directed by Ronny Yu, who is famous for Bride of Chucky and Freddy vs. Jason. This also stars Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Carlyle, Reza Fiennes, and the always hot to trot Emily Mortimer. Yeah, we're going there. Essentially what you have here in the story is we have Elmo McElroy, is a streetwise American chemist who heads to England to set up his last big deal, to introduce a new designer drug to the European market. He soon becomes embroiled in the web of double dealing as he's escorted around Liverpool's underworld and rave scene by rabid local hood Felix De Souza, who hates all things American. But also at the same time, Felix kind of has this little relationship going on with Dakota Parker, played by Emily Mortimer, who's also trying to have some own agendas of her own. So this I actually was interested in seeing. I never really saw this, nor did I hear anyone talk about it until I talked to my good friend about it. He recommended this to me, and I watched this back in 2021. And while COVID, everyone was still on lockdown, and I gotta say this is one of the more underrated, appreciated gems here. And this is a movie I think it is worth your time. It came out in 2001, didn't get the best reviews, didn't get the best box office love, and very few people don't talk about this. But this is available to watch on Peacock and on streaming services, so let's talk about this little underrated gem. Starting off with the positives in terms of the 51st State is that this is a film that it is kind of that Quentin Tarantino-esque movie here. And this is a absurd, crass, not give a shit little action movie that definitely gives you exactly what you want. It is stupid, but it's also very fun here. And you get the impression that everyone knows that how stupid this movie is. And this movie is fun. And you do get a lot of great moments here when it comes to this. Funny moments in here that is very crass, is very much goes for it, and I do think overall it really does go into the direction that it goes in. First off, Ronny Yu, which he has not directed anything since this and Freddy vs. Jason and maybe a few others here and there, but overall I think his direction is what really sells this movie. He can tell that he knows this is not great cinema. He knows that this is not trying to be the next contender at the 2001 Academy Awards. It's just a dumb, crass, over-the-top, crazy action comedy that knows what it is. Stel Pavlou, I think this is the only thing he's written. I think his writing does do entertaining for what serves the plot and premise here, and it does get the job done. It is a very interesting little combination of Hong Kong style directed action with a little bit of British England spy humor with some American in there for us Americans. I definitely quite enjoy that aspect in terms of the cinematography and in terms of the direction. Camera work here is very good by Pu Hang Sen. It's an Canadian Hong Kong cinematography film director. He's worked with people like John Woo and Ronny Yu and Stephen Chow, Stephen Fung, and Yim Ho. He has done some great cinematography with some of the best. I even know some of his cinematography from clips of Red Dust, Once a Thief, and also a little bit of Who Am I and Zoo Warriors. So, and also his cinematography work on Kung Fu Hustle and Fearless is what's in there. So you definitely get a lot of that in terms of what you could play with there. It's very creatively well done in terms of cinematography, in terms of the comedic aspects, but also some of the car chases or some of the action sequences also very well done and very well materialized here. This is a $27 million budget. There's not a lot of CGI. They actually went on location to England and Liverpool, and they actually filmed in that said country. So the locations look great. Get some infamous locations like Manchester, and then the docks of River Misery, the India building, and St. George Hall, and the Liver building. And they build a lot of, they work a lot with what they gave with here. In terms of score, the score is pretty solid in here. It's not one of my favorite scores, but it's a really good score for a movie of this type of nature. And there's some decent music tracks in here, especially one involving a romantic moment involving Dakota and Felix. So you definitely get that part of things in terms of it. Really enjoy just how fast-paced the movie was. So it definitely knows that it's being fast-paced. It's not trying to be over the top or anything. It just wants to be a fun little movie. In terms of that, though, let's talk about some of these actors here. You got Samuel L. Jackson and Robert Carlyle as Felix, who is Robert McCarlyle's character, and Elmo. They don't start off on good terms right away, but as the movie goes along, they start to have fun with each other. They have fun moments, they have some great banter, and this was Samuel L. Jackson after Pulp Fiction, and after that. He was already a known name by the time Pulp Fiction and such goes, but here he does a very good job in his role, and he does take the role seriously, and he commits to his performance and does really good as Elmo McElroy. He's having to play a drug manufacturer whose genius decided that he's had enough of sharing his stuff with drug dealers, especially with Meatloaf as the character of the Lizard. Rest in peace, Meatloaf a day. But I think he does a very good job here. You also have, again, Robert Carlyle. I thought he was good, and this was after 007, The World's Not Enough. Robert Carlyle, he is quite an interesting actor. I do enjoy. Scottish, of course. 28 Weeks Later, I liked him in Yesterday. I thought he was very good in The World Is Not Enough. He does a really good job in terms of what he can play with as this character. He has his little relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Hit Woman, which we're gonna talk about her in a minute. But they do he does try to rekindle that, and also he has some of the more standout moments I thought was a lot of fun. And so that I actually thought made some fun moments to it. Riz Ifans here as a character of his own too, as Iki. He's not in there very much, but this was before Amazing Spider-Man and Deathly Hallows Part 1. Ricky Tomlinson as Leo, I think he does a good job here. He has a lot of fun here. You have Sean Pertwee as a cricket cop, so he does a very good job as the most valuable player in this, besides the two leads. The #1 most valuable player in this, we're gonna talk about her. You know this is coming. Roll the clips.
What do you mean?
Elmo McElroy kept alive.
I don't do alive, I do dead.
Look at you go!
It's Emily Mortimer, obviously. This is an actress that I think is still kind of underrated to this day. I do like her in stuff like Scream 3 and the Pink Panther movies, and even in stuff like Hugo, which I was not big on her performance in that movie at first, but I've came around on her. Also Shutter Island. She is a very solid actress here, and she's very good in this movie. I think she does a lot of great moments as Dakota Parker. She's very feminine, she's very sexy, she does have her badass moments. She plays the businesswoman very well, and she makes it entertaining to watch, and you know what you're getting yourself out of her. And she has some very iconic moments. There is, again, the one moment with her and Felix where they rekindle the relationship. Say what you want, I think that part is romantic, and I think overall she really committed to her performance, and she brought it out in terms of it. So she was fantastic, and before I even forget, Emily Mortimer is still to this day one of the most beautiful British American actresses you will ever see. Whether it's in this movie or any other movie she's done, she is still a lovely woman to watch, and she's pretty much in this movie a hot to trot woman, if you will say.
Yes, definitely, absolutely.
Jack, we scorched another one.
Surprised she hasn't done a 007 movie yet, or 007. Moving on to the negatives of this, there are some moments here of some comedy here that is not the strongest. There are some moments of humor that is not the best written humor, and some of it can be for some people a little bit too crass and a little bit too out there. There is some very weird moments here in terms of some pacing. Despite this being a very fast-paced film, that is a little bit out there. And also, this is a movie that is going to be acquired taste. You can be on board for what this movie is going to give you, or you're going to be going into this ready to hate it, ready to backlash it, and just not give a crap for it. So you definitely have to know what you're getting yourself into. But in conclusion, guys, I thoroughly enjoy Formula 51, or the 51st State. This is one of the more underappreciated gems of the 2000s, one of the more underappreciated buddy action comedies ever. It's entertaining with some energetic action scenes, solid direction from Ronny Yu, very charismatic performances by Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Carlyle, the lovely Emily Mortimer as always, and it has the adult edge to it, which is something I still appreciate with some buddy comedies today, even if they don't really go full force. So it's not in my 100 favorites, but it is an honorable mention for my 100 favorites of all time, and I quite enjoy it. If you've never seen this movie, I would just strongly find this on DVD. There's also a Blu-ray DVD combo pack of it available to watch on streaming services such as Peacock and also Crackle. And also Freevee and Pluto TV. So if you're not able to buy this on DVD or streaming, definitely watch this on streaming and give it a fair chance. It's an underrated gem. Well, that's gonna do it for the video that you just watched. If you want to see more, my channel icon is up here. If you want to see more content from me, all my social medias are right here in this end card. I will also leave a playlist and a video here for you to see what the channel is about. As always, acknowledge me, stay Epictastic, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.